Imagine you're watching a big match at home. The crowd roars, the camera follows a perfect pass, and within seconds, a replay appears from 3 angles, complete with graphics, statistics, and commentary that feels perfectly timed. It's so seamless that it's easy to forget something important. None of this is automatic. Today, we're going to step behind the scenes of live sports broadcasting and explore how a match travels from a stadium to your screen. Not just the cameras, but the people, the signals, the timing, and the surprisingly complex decisions that happen every minute. This is a story about logistics, teamwork, and problem solving under pressure. Let's start with a basic question. What does live really mean? In everyday language, we treat it as instant. But in broadcasting, live usually means as close to real time as technically possible. There's always some delay. Sometimes it's tiny, like a couple of seconds. Other times it's larger, like 30 seconds or more, especially for internet streams. That delay can be deliberate, for safety reasons or for content control, but often it's simply the time needed to capture, process, and distribute the signal. Before a single ball is kicked, a huge amount of planning happens. Broadcasters don't just arrive with a few cameras and hope for the best. They create a production plan. How many cameras, where they'll be placed, what kind they are, which angles they'll prioritize, and which stories they want to tell. A high-profile football match can use 20, 30, even 40 cameras. Smaller events might use only a handful. Camera placement is not random. There's usually a main camera that provides the wide shot most viewers are familiar with. It's the backbone of the broadcast, giving you a stable view of the overall play. Then there are close-up cameras for players and coaches, cameras behind the goals, and sometimes special systems like a wire camera that glides above the field, or super slow-motion cameras that capture dramatic moments in extraordinary detail. Now, here's something many people don't realize. The director doesn't control the cameras directly. Each camera has an operator, and those operators must anticipate the action. They're trained to predict movement and to frame shots that will be useful. The director sits in a production room, watches all camera feeds at once, and chooses which one goes to air. That choice can change several times in a single second. Think about what that requires. The director must follow the sport, understand the rhythm of the game, and also consider the narrative. Is there tension between two players? Is someone injured? Did the coach react to a referee's decision? Viewers might not consciously notice these choices, but they strongly shape how the match feels. The production room is often inside an outside broadcast truck, sometimes called an OB truck. It can be parked near the stadium and filled with monitors, switchers, audio mixers, and a tightly coordinated crew. If you could step inside, you'd see screens everywhere. Each screen shows a different camera. Others show graphics, replays, and incoming feeds from the studio. Let's talk about audio, because video gets the attention, but audio creates the atmosphere. There are microphones around the pitch to pick up the sound of the ball, the player's shouts, and the crowd's reactions. There may be directional microphones aimed at specific areas, plus ambient microphones to capture the overall stadium sound. Then there's commentary. Commentators might be in the stadium, in a booth with a view of the field, or they might be far away in a studio, watching the same broadcast you see, but with extra information. Remote commentary has become more common because it reduces travel costs, but it also changes the job. When you're not physically there, you miss subtle cues. The tension in the crowd before a penalty, the exact weather conditions, or small interactions off camera. So how do replays happen so fast? This is one of the most impressive parts of modern broadcasting. Each camera feed is recorded instantly, and replay operators mark key moments as they happen. The director might shout something like, "Replay angle 3, last tackle, speed 50%. Within seconds, the replay team selects the best view, adjusts the speed, and sends it back to the director, who inserts it at a moment that won't interrupt live play. But inserting replays is a delicate balance. Too many replays, and you miss the live action. Too few, and viewers feel confused or unsatisfied. Different sports have different rhythms. so the replay strategy changes. In a sport with frequent pauses, replays are easier. In a fast, continuous game, the director must be cautious. Graphics are another layer. The score bug in the corner, the timer, the player names, and the statistics, these are generated in real time. A graphics operator manages templates and inputs. Some information comes from official data sources, some is entered manually. In major leagues, there are dedicated data teams tracking passes, shots, speed, and positioning. You might see a heat map or running distance figure, and behind that number is a system of sensors, cameras, or human analysts. Now, we reach the critical moment, getting the signal out of the stadium. The broadcast feed, called the program feed, is the final mixed product. Selected camera shots, replays, graphics, and audio combined. This feed must be transmitted to a network, a streaming platform, or a central broadcast center. There are a few ways to move that signal. Traditionally, broadcasters use satellite trucks. The signal would go up to a satellite and then down to a broadcast facility. Satellites are reliable for certain situations, especially when infrastructure is limited, but they can be expensive and sometimes affected by weather. Increasingly, broadcasters use fiber optic networks. Fiber can carry massive amounts of data with very low delay. If the stadium has strong connectivity, fiber is usually the preferred option. There's also a newer approach using IP transmission, where the broadcast is sent as data packets over managed networks. This enables more flexible production, including the possibility that the director and technical team are not even at the stadium. But sending the signal is not the end. Many viewers don't receive the raw feed directly. The broadcast might go to a central facility where it's customized for different regions. Different countries may have different commentators, different sponsors, or even different camera priorities. Some broadcasters insert localized ads. Others adjust the language of on-screen graphics. Then comes distribution to you, through cable, satellite TV, or streaming apps. Streaming introduces another layer of complexity, because the signal must be encoded into multiple qualities. If your internet is fast, you get a high-definition stream. If it slows down, the platform may automatically switch you to a lower quality to avoid buffering. This is called adaptive bitrate streaming. That's why two people watching the same match can be at different moments in the game. One might be watching on traditional TV with a short delay, and another might be streaming with a longer delay. This difference can become obvious when someone's phone sends a goal notification before the goal appears on screen. Let's talk about timing and synchronization, because live broadcasting is a constant fight against chaos. The director, replay operators, audio engineer, graphics team, commentators, and camera operators must work like a single organism. If the audio is slightly ahead of the video, viewers feel something is wrong. If the graphics show the wrong player, trust is lost. If a replay is triggered at the wrong moment, it can ruin the tension. To manage this, teams rely on standard time references, intercom systems, and strict procedures. They rehearse. They test lines. They run backups. Redundancy is a key principle, having a second option ready in case the first fails. If a main camera stops working, the director must instantly adjust. If a fiber line fails, there may be a backup line, or even a satellite fallback. There's also the human factor. Live events are stressful. People make mistakes, and the system is designed to reduce the impact of those mistakes. Clear communication is essential. In an OB truck, you'll hear constant, short instructions. Not long explanations, but precise commands. Ready camera 5, take 5, roll replay, hold, back to main. Another behind-the-scenes reality is that broadcasters must follow rules and rights agreements. Not every camera angle can be used for every platform. Some leagues restrict certain shots. Some limit how quickly highlights can be published online. And of course, there are strict guidelines about advertising, sponsorship visibility, and even what can be shown during sensitive incidents. Technology keeps changing the industry. Some productions now use automated cameras in smaller venues, controlled remotely or guided by software that follows the action. Artificial intelligence is being used to tag highlights, detect key events, and even assist with captioning. But even with advanced tools, human judgment remains central, especially for storytelling, deciding what matters and when. So the next time you watch a live match, consider what you're really seeing. You're not just seeing the sport, you're seeing a carefully constructed version of it, shaped in real time by dozens, sometimes hundreds, of people working under intense time pressure. And maybe that's part of the magic. Live sports broadcasting is like a second performance happening alongside the game itself. The players compete on the field, while a different team competes against time, technology, and unpredictability to bring the experience to you. If you want to practice your listening today, here's a challenge. Listen again and try to catch the key stages in order, from planning and camera work to mixing audio and video to transmission and streaming. Once you can retell the process clearly, you're not only improving your English, you're also training your mind to organize complex information. Thanks for listening to Kuma English Listening Hub. If you enjoyed this deep dive, come back for more advanced listening practice with real-world topics and clear explanations.